Welcome to the Kit Car History File series, where we'll be going through the industry's past. We'll be visiting old marks of long ago, some modern ones, some mostly older stuff. A lot of archive information with photographs and information on the cars they made, the people involved, and what happened to them. Hi, welcome to Total Kit Cars History File series. My name's Steve Hull, editor of TKC Mag and TotalKitCar.com. And we're doing this series in conjunction with our video editor, Neil Willington. Some of these videos will appear on his channel, Enwin's Motors. I'll tell you the links at the end of this piece. So this time we're going to be looking at a lesser known model from Ginetta cars, but quite an important one in their history. Nevertheless, it was called the G10. And it was launched at the racing car show of January 1965. It was the Brother Walklet's first attempt at a big banger, a big V8 Ginetta model. And power came from a Ford 289 V8, 4.7 litres, as used in the Cobra 289. And Lotus had done a similar thing with it with their Type 30, Lotus 30. It was quite sophisticated for its day. Had independent suspension and brake discs all round, with the rears mounted inboard. And it really came about because the company's American dealer, a chap called George Kipps, beg your pardon, had been talking to Bob Walklet and asking him to supply a car that could compete in the SCCA Sports Car Championship. And the G10 was that car. It did bear some visual resemblances to an MGB, which actually the Walklet's got a little bit of unfair criticism for. But you can certainly see that the windscreen is MGB, and of course, although it had a GRP body, the doors were steel, and they were MGB doors. They offered a convertible and a fixed head version. Launch price for the car at the racing car show was £2,250, which was quite pricey for its day, and according to Money Sorter website, that is equivalent to £30,500 basically in today's money, allowing for inflation, and plus that 2,250 was plus purchase tax back in the day. So it was quite pricey, but it was certainly a stylish and handsome looking car, I think. The irrepressible Chris Meek was the Ginetta Works driver, and by all accounts he was very rapid in the G10. He won his debut was a Formula Libre race at Brands Hatch, sports car race that included all sorts of kit, including a couple of lightweight E-types, I believe, and he romped home. So with things looking quite good, George Kipps ordered 6 in one go. I think there was 4 fixed heads and 2 convertibles. But the trouble there was a big one, a big problem. The SCCA had refused to certify it for use in the class that Kipps wanted to run it in. The reason being, Ginetta hadn't built 100 of them to allow for homologation. So it was put then into a class that included real big hitters like Lola T70s and McLaren M6s, which wasn't ideal. It wasn't intended as a Can-Am type car. And it had no real, even though it was a very capable car, and like all Ivor Walklet designs, it handled like a demon. But it was never going to compete against Lola T70 and big bangers, real big bangers. So it was a bit of a disaster for Ginetta, especially as Kipps immediately cancelled his order, beg your pardon, and that kind of was it for a little while. But typically shrewd, the Walklets took stock, and within a few months, a slightly revised G10 had morphed into the G11. The back rear arches were now a bit beefier. It had Triumph front suspension, an MGB live rear axle, and plus it had a 1800cc B series engine. And this one was launched at the Racing Car Show in January 1966. Price was less because obviously it was a 4-cylinder rather than a V8. 1325 fully built, about £17,250 today, or a kit version, which basically was less engine and a few other bits and bobs, at £1,098, which equates to £14,300 in today's money. The response though wasn't very good, and they didn't get the orders that they expected. There was also some conjecture that BMC at the time weren't particularly enamoured about the idea of supplying MGB parts like doors and windscreen frames and windscreens to an outside concern. They were trying to build they wanted everything they could build for themselves. So that also kind of led to the car being dropped. And according to numbers I've seen, so we had 3 G10s and possibly 2 G11s in period, which is quite a shame because I think they deserve to do better than that. There were 4. There was a chap. He'd built a G4 in the past and maybe owned another Ginetta model. A Birmingham engineer by the name of Russ Madden. And he went off to Ginetta's factory, which was in Whittam at that time, and he bought the last G11 body chassis kit, less the MGB doors. Apparently they weren't there, but that was no real problem to source those. And then he's also spotted, I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 chassis sitting on the floor, and he persuaded Bob Walcliffe to flog them to him, and so he took them, and he built those kits up into cars. And they were said to be very, very nicely done. He made some amendments to suit his own taste. And I think there was a dark blue one that appeared in Cars and Car Conversions magazine I was looking at it just the other day, October 1972 issue. And if you can find that anywhere in your collection or on eBay, it's well worth seeking out. It's a very nice feature, actually. And the reason I got thinking about the G10 and G11 was that I noticed the other day I got a press release from the new Ginetta, Lawrence Tomlinson's company, that are doing really good things. Sadly, don't make kits anymore, make the cars in kits, but they're doing good things nonetheless. About a limited edition continuation model of the G10, which I was fascinated to hear. And on their website, it's described as classic remastered, and I like that. They're going to obviously use the original moulds, it's nice to know that they're still around some nearly 60 years after they were last used. They're going to use an LS3 6.2 litre V8, which is no doubt have nearly 500 horsepower. It'll weigh less than 1,000 kilos, so it will be quite rapid. And there's also whispers, I believe, of an electric version too. So interesting. I think if you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. But again, I've heard rumours that it will be over £100,000. But there is some information on Ginetta.com website. And that kind of brings us to the close of a fascinating look at a fascinating little Ginetta or pair of Ginettas that were never really productionised or didn't get the success they deserved. Is probably more the point. So I hope you enjoyed that. And indeed, I hope you're enjoying this series we're putting together. It's an audio series, obviously, with some photos from our archive, and some of which are quite rare photos we're using, particularly the ones of the G11 and the G10 we've put with this video, or this audio. So I hope you enjoy them. If you can forgive my umming and ahhing, I think I'm getting better. I'm getting a bit more used to this, but I've never done voiceovers before, so it's a tricky skill. But I hope you're enjoying it. If you have and you got this far and you haven't done so already, I really would like to please ask you if you'd be kind enough to subscribe to our channel. Doesn't cost you a penny piece. And if you also hit notifications and select all, that means you'll get notified every time that we put a video on our channel. As a rule of thumb, one of Neil Winnington, our video editor's feature videos, goes on usually on the 1st of each month. Can fluctuate, can vary round about then. And then these little history file series videos are every couple of weeks, maybe every week, depending on how we feel and how time is and how we can get the audio done and the photos scanned and the video edited. If you could also kindly head over to, if you search Enwin's Motors in the YouTube search box, Enwin's being ENWIN''S Motors, and give Neil a subscription if you'd be so kind and subscribe. That'd be great. Oh, while I remember, if you could also hit the like button, I'm told that helps our algorithm, and I don't understand what that means, but I'm told it's good. So if you could, like is good. Many thanks, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye. Oh, one final thing before I do go. If you like classic kit cars and specials, we have a special section on our website at totalkitcar.com, which is updated every week, every Friday in fact, and has been for 23 years, which I'm rather proud of. But you'll find little features on cars like the G10 and all sorts of stuff on there, from historic 60s motorsport, some obscure stuff, some interesting stuff we like to think. And that's www.totalkitcar.com, and I'd really appreciate it if you could pay us a visit. Again, it's free, obviously published by the same crowd that do TKC Mag, but this content is totally separate apart from the odd bits here and there, but it's by and large a separate publication, and albeit online, this one. Hope you enjoy it. If you haven't seen it already or haven't been for a while, we're still around and we're still kicking, so pay a visit to us. We have news and views on there, some features, and indeed, as I said, Classic Kit Cars and Specials is now residing on that website, and you'll find a separate menu button for that, so go and explore. I think last time I checked, there's about 52 separate features on Classic Kit Cars and Specials and Historic Motorsport, so plenty to hopefully entertain you when you've got 20 minutes, half an hour to read on the train or on the bus or on your laptop and in the lounge while you're having a cup of coffee or something, and while the missus is watching horrible soap operas on the telly. Thank you. Bye.